Turning up the heat in the capital city on this Eclipse Eve. This is our third straight alert day because of the rising temperatures. More on your famously hot forecast just ahead. And now, a little more than 24 hours away from the historic total solar eclipse. We are covering all things related to the eclipse as the countdown continues. Just ahead, we have everything you need to know to prepare for the big day.
The media spread a narrative that we're white, nationalist, racist, neo-Nazi group when that's ridiculous. We are nonpartisan. We are strictly First Amendment.
Protests continuing around the nation to let voices be heard, but is it really freedom of speech or an uproar of hate? We'll have more just ahead. Your Sunday morning news starts right now.
Live, local, now. This is WIS News 10.
Good Sunday morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I'm Judy Gatz and glad to have you all with us. It will surely be yet another hot day across the Midlands. Brace yourself for higher temperatures as they start to skyrocket. Meteorologist Vaughn Gaskin in the First Alert Weather Center with more on the heat, the humidity, and how it will impact our day. Vaughn?
Oh, well, if you're going to be heading outside over the next couple of hours, you want to be mindful of the heat. Now, it's going to be just as hot as it was yesterday. We had daytime highs getting into the upper 90s, and with high pressure and plenty of sunshine, that means we have a low flow of air. So a nice breeze would really help to cool things off, but that hadn't been the case. Whenever you have high pressure kind of dominating and sitting over you, you have a hard time getting a nice cooling breeze to go. The only place we really see any active weather or any rain along the coast, and even those showers are starting to move out. But if you're near Myrtle Beach, Charleston, or if you have plans to go there, well, they're running into 1 or 2 sprinkles for this morning, but they will quickly move out. Want to talk about a warm day? Well, just look at how warm it is this morning at 87 degrees now in Columbia, 86 for you as we look over in Lexington, and 85 for you in St. Matthews. And this is about 2 degrees warmer than we were yesterday at this time through Winsboro and Columbia. You're right on target with where you were in St. Matthews at this time. Now, I also want to show you some interesting numbers here as we look at this. Now, of course, it's 10:02 in the morning, but it already feels like 92 degrees in Lexington. That real field temperature is really going to make an impact on our afternoon. And even as we look in Columbia, yeah, I told you it was 87. Feels like 93. We're going to talk details about these hot temperatures a bit more coming up in just a bit, Judy.
All right, Vaughn, thank you so much. Well, we are counting down, of course, to one of the biggest events to ever hit the Midlands. Take a look at the bottom of your screen there, the countdown. Now about 24 hours away, of course, the total solar eclipse around 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Many gearing up for the big day. Thousands continuing to make their way to Columbia for the solar eclipse. Our Caroline Patrikas has more.
Millions of tourists are making their way to South Carolina, preparing to see history.
Whenever the moon moves in front of the sun, it goes total darkness.
All the way from Ohio.
Oh, for the eclipse and to visit family.
To Puerto Rico.
Well, like I said, we don't know about the town. We're going to see the State House now. If you have recommendations, we'll take them.
Tourists and locals.
I came from Carolina.
Spent the day exploring the capital city. Several thousands spent the morning at the Soda City Eclipse Market on Main Street, while others hit the South Carolina State Museum.
I would safely estimate that over 50% of our guests today are from out of state.
Inching closer to the total solar eclipse, the excitement is building across the nation. Last-minute spectators are trying to get their hands on eclipse glasses.
I came all the way from Wenzhou, China.
Sulan Chin, the owner of NASA-certified Solar Eclipse International dealer, is hoping to distribute more than 100,000 pairs of eclipse glasses over the weekend.
They have been a manufacturer of solar eclipse glasses for many years, and they keep a close eye on all the events all the world over. That's why this is a peak to them moment, and they cannot miss it.
But I don't know if we've ever had this high concentration of people from out of town in our history. And this is bringing people from all over the world and all over the nation to be here today.
All right, that was our Caroline Patrikas reporting. Now, of course, the excitement, not just here in the Midlands, millions across the country are making their way to one of the cities in the path of totality, packing highways, airports, train stations from Oregon all the way to the Palmetto State, trying to find the perfect spot along that 70-mile wide path. One of the cities in that path, Casper, Wyoming, the city with a population of less than 60,000 people, expecting tens of thousands more this weekend. The city's downtown had to shut down for what they are calling the Casper Eclipse Festival. Business owners there say they've seen an increase of about 800% compared to this time last year, all as people look to get in on what experts say will be an awe-inspiring experience.
It's an incredibly moving experience, and it's something that you will remember the rest of your life, and it's something, the stories of seeing that eclipse are things that you will be passing down to your grandchildren.
Of course, we have plenty of events lined up here at home as well for the solar eclipse weekend. A lot of activities happening at the South Carolina State Museum, Spirit Communications Park, the zoo, all over the place. To get the complete rundown, go to palmettoweekend.com. And remember, WIS is your official home for the total solar eclipse. We have live team coverage throughout the day today and tomorrow as we count down to totality. Our special report tomorrow begins at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. We will broadcast live from the State Museum, Riverbanks Zoo, Spirit Communications Park, all across the Midlands. WIS will keep you updated minute by minute of the changing weather, the traffic conditions, everything you need to know to enjoy Columbia's total eclipse. Well, this morning, our family here at WIS would like to send condolences to the family of our former Senior Vice President and General Manager, Mel Stevens. Mel passed away in Columbia after a series of health problems that began in late June. He retired in late 2007 after 39 years in the television business. During his career, he served as general manager here at WIS for 6 years after holding that same position at stations in Toledo, Ohio, and Montgomery, Alabama. A proud U.S. Navy veteran, Mel was also active in a variety of community organizations here in Columbia, including the United Way, the American Red Cross, Chamber of Commerce, and Palmetto Health Foundation. Funeral services will be held Wednesday. As we get more details, we will certainly share them with you, but this morning we want to offer Mel's wife, Kathy, you see her there, and the entire Stevens family, our thoughts, prayers, and love. Well, some other sad news to report this morning. Comedian and civil rights activist Dick Gregory has died. The family says that he passed away in Washington, D.C. last night. He was admitted to the hospital, though, back on August 12th. He lived a full life, of course. Gregory gained notoriety in the early 1960s as one of the first African-American comics, but he was not content to just tell jokes. He used his fame to advocate for civil rights in an era of strict segregation. His experiences with discrimination and injustice became the backbone of his comedy act. Gregory was in the middle of a comedy tour this month when he fell ill. Gregory was 84 years old. Well, moving into events today, hundreds gathered last night in Charlotte in what has now been labeled a call to action against white nationalism. Just 1 week after deadly violence erupted in the streets of Charlottesville, Virginia over a planned white nationalist rally. Many also prayed for the victims of last weekend's violence. Charlotte's mayor and at least one state senator also were there to take part in that vigil. Meanwhile, the North Carolina division of the Sons of Confederate Veterans, also in the Queen City, that group talked to our sister station there, speaking on the movement underway across the country to take down Confederate monuments. That group says the monuments are memorials and often represent their ancestors who gave their lives defending their homes.
And a lot of them did not come home. They lay today in unmarked graves or even maybe with an unknown tombstone. So in effect, these memorials become grave markers.
Of course, this all comes as Confederate monuments nationwide come under increased scrutiny. Yesterday, a statue of Confederate General Robert E. Lee was removed from the entrance of Duke University's chapel. Thousands also took to the streets in Boston to protest a free speech rally many city leaders feared would attract white nationalist groups. However, the message was more so one of unity and equality. That free speech rally attracted less than 100 people and broke up in less than an hour. About 36 counter-protesters were arrested after clashes with police officers.
99.9% of the people here were for the right reason, and that's to fight bigotry and hate for the most part here today.
Organizers of that free speech rally say they are being falsely portrayed and are strictly in support of the First Amendment. President Trump tweeted in support of the protesters, applauding, quote, the many protesters in Boston who are speaking out against bigotry and hate. Well, many of our four-legged friends sometimes left abandoned without a loving family to take care of them. Sadly, they get placed in shelters. Still to come this Sunday morning, we'll take a closer look at how the Midlands is helping to clear the shelters in a major way. And the heat continues. Brace yourself. We might see a little rain. We'll see how those percentages are shaping up when we take a look at our first alert forecast. Live from the capital city, you are watching WIS News 10.